Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
I'm Cindy.
I'm Alison.
And we have a combined 55 years of experience working with children, families, and experts in early education.
We are not random influencers.
No, we are not. Whether you are new or have been our podcast peeps since 2018, we are thrilled you found us. Hey, preschool peeps, we're back.
Hey, peeps.
Here we are, talking about a really serious topic today, right?
Yeah.
Pretty serious. And I don't know that people always take it seriously, but we're going to tell you why you should take it seriously and maybe share this episode widely with educators and especially families.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But before we get into that, Alison, as she always does, has some news to share with us about who is listening to and or watching this podcast.
Yes, it's very exciting because we are shouting out the Dominican Republic today. That's a place we've never shouted out before.
We haven't shouted out the Dominican Republic?
No. So super excited that you're here. And we are also shouting out Potomac, Maryland.
Where I have been.
You have been there.
And
yes.
I have family who's from there originally.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
I lived in Maryland for a little while there, but not in Potomac.
It's very nice in Potomac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that, I don't know if that's close.
I don't think so, no.
Now all the Maryland people are going to be like, they're debating our state now. Let's give them some information, some solid information, because we don't have any, obviously. But Maryland is a place that we frequently frequent.
Yeah.
Yeah. We frequently frequent it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can tell that today is a fresh recording day early in the morning, probably.
We are recording earlier than we usually do, so.
Yeah,
and
it's
on
true.
a day we normally don't.
True. All of it true.
We're all mixed up today.
And we are here to talk about a pretty serious topic. We both of us in our separate work worlds we discovered we were having conversations with people about the absenteeism in preschool.
Yes.
And how people sometimes just think it's only preschool.
Like,
what's the big deal? You don't have to go all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
You're too young to worry about that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I want to first define for everyone what is chronic absenteeism.
Yeah.
So that you understand who we're talking about or what situations we're talking about. And then we're going to get into some statistics and reasons why chronic absenteeism is actually an issue for the children who are attending preschool programs. So first, let's define chronic absenteeism. Everywhere we look, we've looked at multiple sources. Everywhere we look, chronic absenteeism has been defined as missing at least 10% of the academic year. So you have to look at how many days, or in your academic year, what is 10% of that? People who are missing more than that number can be considered children with chronic absenteeism.
Like, I would think if you're going to school like from September to June, that's 10 months. 10% would be missing a whole month. Is that correct? I'm not good at math, but is that correct?
It would be basically missing a month.
A month, 30 days of school.
And we know that there are families who maybe originate from other countries, and they'll take their children out for a month or two to go and visit
the country
where they're visiting.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you that we fully understand that. I'm going to give this little disclaimer. We fully understand why you would do that. Yeah. The question is, are you keeping up with what the early childhood program is doing while you go and visit your family in your country of origin? I remember having families who would come to us when I was a teacher and when I was a program director, and they would say things like, we are going back to our home country for 6 weeks. Yeah. And we had some families who said, what can you give me to do with my child while we're gone?
Right.
And then I remember there were people who said, oh no, just go enjoy your time. Don't worry about it. That's not a good response. And we're about to tell you why. Yeah. When people ask you to bring things so that they can continue their child's education, it's very important. Even when people don't ask you, to say to them, would you like any things from us to continue what we've been working on with your child? Let them decide. We're going to tell you the impact of children having chronic absenteeism, and you all can take that and decide what you're going to do with it. So there are many impacts, it turns out. There's one statistic that shows that starting as early as preschool and kindergarten, chronic absence can leave third graders unable to read proficiently sixth graders struggling with coursework, and high school students off track for graduation. And that even more importantly, it impacts social and emotional development and makes it hard to, ready? Gain the habit of showing up for things. It makes it hard to lay a foundation for later success, not only in school, but also in the workplace, because the understanding that you need to show up for your obligations is that foundation is set in the early childhood years. We talk all the time in this profession about how important our jobs are, because we are laying a foundation that's going to stay with that child, and we are building brains.
Right.
We are literally building brains. So all of this stuff builds the architecture of the brain and how children see their world, function in their world, and who they become. We say it all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So when a family says, can you give me stuff to do while we're gone? Please give it to them.
Yes.
Also, let's see, chronic absenteeism, attendance matters because regular attendance helps children feel those academic gains, because regular attendance develops consistent habits that last a lifetime, according to the research. You know, I remember, I just have to stop for a second. I remember when I was young, unless I was sick, I went to school.
That's true. I also, unless I was sick, I went to school. There was one day that in my family you were allowed to take off, and it was your birthday.
Okay.
That was it. And I still, to this day, work every day unless I'm sick, and I always take my birthday off. That's the only day, or unless I have like an appointment or something, I'm at work. I don't just not show up to work.
I used to occasionally let my children take off from school for major things that were happening.
Yeah.
It would not have equaled 10% of their school year, though.
No.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, just so you know, early childhood attendance in their early childhood program serves as a way that we can identify children who may need extra support for their development. And if children aren't in their program consistently, we can't be as sure of that as we might be if they were with us consistently. Right. Plus, we can't provide them with that support consistently.
Yeah, I was going to say, if your child is in school receiving services like speech therapy, physical therapy, those kind of things, and you miss 10% of the school year, they're missing out on those very crucial supports that they need, so it's important that they're there to receive them.
So you may be thinking, why are they talking about this? How prevalent is this?
Oh,
I'll tell you how prevalent this is, actually. We have statistics that we found from the U.S. Department of Education from 2021 to 22, that school year, and from 2022 to 2023. So the most current statistic is 2023, which is not surprising. It takes time to gather all this. So the statistics show that chronic absenteeism hovers in the area of 30%. 30% of students in the early childhood years in preschool. So it's interesting to me that it hovers there. It was a little higher in the 2021-22 year. It was closer to 31%. Right. But in 2022 to 23, it went down to about 28%. Yes. It is still hovering in that 30%.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's because of a long history of people seeing preschool as babysitting.
Yes.
I think it just absolutely I should sit up. Look at me on YouTube. I think it absolutely goes back to preschool isn't important.
Yes.
It's not a required thing. It's babysitting, or we just send our children to school for socialization, which is very good for you to do. But also, while they're there for socialization, they're gaining many other things, including that habit of, I need to show up to my obligations. Right? So, we have to think about not only the skill building, like it absolutely impacts children's reading comprehension and literacy skills by the time they're in third grade if they didn't regularly attend whatever program you have them in, which, by the way, can be a formal preschool program, like a center-based program, can be a preschool in public school, can be family childcare, that counts. Yes. Can be homeschool if you're using a really good system for homeschooling. Can't be a haphazard homeschooling. It has to be a decent system for it. There are these wonderful homeschool communities where people educate themselves about how to do this.
Yes.
and they form
Like a pod.
yeah, like a pod,
Like a pod.
and
Homeschooling
they work together to educate
Yes.
the children. It is really, I was talking to somebody the other day who homeschooled her children, and she was talking about how it's such a myth that they're not socialized if you're in a pod.
Yeah.
She's like, if you're not in a pod,
Then
then that's
Yeah,
maybe,
that's
she's
a
like,
little
it might be
different.
different. She said, I don't know, because I always make sure my children were in a pod.
yeah.
Or whatever she called it.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now your name. I don't know.
I
She
yeah,
said
because
that.
that's what I call it, but I know there's other names for it. I think like there's micro school is another name
Yeah,
for some
yeah,
of
yeah.
those. So I think some of them just call it a community.
And to be clear, that's not the same as family childcare. Family childcare is when children are enrolled in an early childhood program that takes place usually in a home-based
someone's home,
setting, in
yeah.
someone's home. All of those places count as your child's preschool program when we're talking about this absenteeism. People tend to miss nearly a month of school. There are articles online about why it matters for reading, why it matters for
Yes.
social emotional growth, why it matters for brain development, why it matters for giving children the extra support they need before it becomes a major problem for them,
Right.
why it matters for teaching children about how to behave in a group.
Right. I think it's big on like routine forming, not just like, hey, we get up, we eat breakfast, we take a bath, we go to school. It's also like the routine within school. And so like when they're missing out on that and they're out for a month of school, it's hard for them to get back into the rhythm of school. And if you're doing this often, taking a lot of time off, it's like they can't differentiate what the actual routine is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be what I do at home? Is it supposed to be what I do on vacation? Is it supposed to be what I do at school?
So there are several things.
Yeah.
You know, we always try and give advice if we can. There are several things that we can do in early education to motivate attendance. Okay? And we're just going to go through a few of these from different sources.
Okay.
Maybe what we'll do by the time, I'm going to download this one. By the time this podcast comes out, take a look at our website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com, and I go to the resources, the listener resources page, and I will have at least one thing there for you,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah.
And we need to, hang on, I need to press something. Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
technology
I
thing.
lost you for a minute.
I lost it, yeah. So there are some ways that we can create a positive atmosphere around attendance, basically. And some of the ways we can do that is to engage the families and make sure they understand every day what their children have learned. Not just, here's a cute little art thing, but here's what your child learned by doing that
Yeah,
cute little art
yeah.
thing. You know, not just here's an image of your child playing, it's here's what your child learned
Learned
while
while
they were playing.
Yeah.
Families don't understand the value unless
Yes.
we teach them the value.
True.
So you need to get your, whatever tool you use for assessment and observation. Some of the popular ones where we are in the United States anyway are Teaching Strategies
Yeah.
Gold, High Scopes Core Advantage, your state standards.
Yes.
Get the milestones from the CDC if you need them. Get milestones from wherever you can get them, whatever your system in your country is. Get those milestones for children's development. Use that as a basis for everything you send home to families.
Right.
Because then they'll understand, oh, if we miss a lot of time, you're missing all
you're-
this learning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't realize that. Also, when we engage children in really enriching activities, they want to
They
come.
want to come to school.
They want to come.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've heard families, like they've told me, you know, I was going to keep her home yesterday and she was upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Also, we can teach children that their attendance in our program matters to us. Like, they come in the morning, they mark their attendance in some way, they
Yeah.
put their picture on the
Yes.
I'm here thing,
Yeah.
they get something
Yeah.
like, here's a stamp on your hand, you're
Yeah.
here
You're
today,
here today.
right?
Yeah.
Something like that, that shows that them being in our space
Yeah.
had great value to
Right.
us.
And for me, like what I have a little heart. And if you are not here today, your name goes in the heart and we sing a song to you about like wishing you well. And that song, a lot of times the next day, they'll be like, hey, Cindy, we sang for you yesterday. We missed you so much. Like the kids now understand like, oh, we sang that song because she's not here because we miss her.
Right.
You know? And so then the kids are like, oh, you missed me? Like, yeah, we missed you. You were in the heart. You know? So like they understand like when you're not there, it is like a little bit of a hole sometimes. Like we miss you. Like we want you to be there.
We miss you. You're a valuable part of
Yeah,
this classroom team. You matter to everybody. You contribute to the whole.
Yes, yes.
Right? Also, we need to reach out to families. When there's been a lot of absenteeism, rather than saying things like, well, if he doesn't attend, we can just take him off our roster. Rather than doing that and saying things like, we have people who want this spot, we need to go to families and explain to them why this is important. And then we have to problem solve with them.
Yeah.
If they're saying, well, here are the reasons why he doesn't always attend, we have another child who has XYZ issue, and so it's very challenging for us to get the person here all the time. We need to problem solve that with them and say, well, maybe we can help you out. Maybe we can figure out someone who can help you out. Sometimes children are coming from families where the adults have their own physical disabilities.
Yes.
And it's really hard for them to get the child there.
Yeah.
Maybe we can problem solve that.
It could be a transportation issue for some people. I had that last year in my class. See, I usually don't let that go. Like if you're absent for one day, I'm like, all right, I'll let you go. You have a day off. If you're absent the next day, I email you and be like, hi, we missed you. Is everything okay? To the parent. And then that's usually when they'll be more willing to share, because you're like, I care. I missed you. Is everything okay? And that's when they will usually spill like, hey, it's because we didn't have a car that day. Okay, well, let me reach out to transportation. Maybe the bus can come pick you up that day. Maybe we can get a carpool going for you if you're not going to have a car for a long period of time. If it, but if we don't know, we can't help. We can't problem solve and brainstorm if we don't know the reasons why.
And we have to do it quick, okay?
Yes.
We can't wait until the child already has chronic absenteeism.
One day you're out, okay, I'll give it to you. 2 days, no, I'm emailing you that next day.
To say what's going on.
What's going on. Like one day, okay, you're a little under the weather, whatever. Okay, the next day I want to know why, And I'm not prying into your life. If you're willing to share with me, you're willing to share with me. But I want you to know I care and I'm asking so I can help you.
I know that this has been a big project of Head Start recently because they've had a lot of absenteeism. And the absenteeism rates change from where you are. Like, for example, city areas have a different percentage, a larger percentage than sometimes other areas. So I know that Head Start has been working on systems to support families to try and encourage the children to attend and to educate families about why that matters. Also, you can partner with, if you are a private center-based program, partner with your public school. Reach out to them and say, is there any way we can even share some transportation?
Yes.
What can we do?
What can we do?
Or, can you develop something for us that teaches the families that we are preparing them for your school?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do you have
That's
that
a
shows
great idea.
readiness data?
That's a great idea. Yes.
Right?
You're like, what do we need to do at our level to get them ready for your level? That's great.
And get that information
and get the information. And then when you have events at the preschool, you can say, this is important because when you go to public school, this is what they need to be doing and this is what they expect.
Right.
And get ready for that now. Get your head wrapped around that now, because it changes a little bit from setting to setting.
Don't you think it's true that we bemoan, right? We sit here going, we are not babysitters, we are educators. A child learns every waking moment of the day. They need to be in a place that is joyful and engaging and stimulating, and we know how to add to their learning, and we know how to help them socialize. We know how to help them with those big feelings in a way that sometimes families struggle with because they're emotionally involved with their children. And we're always saying to each other, we are not just babysitting. But then when people are chronically absent, we go, oh, well.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't
care. So what? Take a 3-month off.
Right? Like, I don't, in another way, like I said earlier, is we have to partner with the families and teach them it's important. One way we teach them it's important is when we know there is going to be a long absence, saying to them, let me give you some activities you can do with your child while you're there, because we want your child's learning to continue. Right? We want this path that your child is on in building these milestones to continue while you're gone. So we're going to give you a packet. You can't make them do it. No. I'll tell you, you can't make them do it. They may or may not do it. But if you give them a packet of things that they can do that are developmentally appropriate, then at least you tried.
You tried.
That's the most we can do in early education, goodness knows, is try.
Tried.
I have such an itch. Do you see me like scratching on YouTube?
That was me before. You were looking at the other screen,
such an
and I was like
itch.
this, and I'm like, nobody wants this.
I'm sorry. I'm over
It's
my
okay.
itch now, folks.
I also want to say that if your child actually is sick, we're not saying send them to school.
Oh,
we're saying,
no.
We're not saying that. We're saying if your child's sick, please keep them home because that's the best way for them to get better. We're saying for like long absences, taking vacations in the middle of the year, because if your child's sick, they're sick. Even if they are sick for more than 10% of the year, they're sick, right? So they should be home.
I'll tell you what I think early childhood programs, whatever kind of program you do or in, need to think about.
Yeah. So now I have the itch.
I know, I'm sorry, I gave it to you. Here's what I think they need to think about. In elementary school, middle school, high school, when a child is injured or sick and cannot attend school,
Right.
they set up a way for your child to still learn.
Yes, they do.
Right?
That's true.
Back in the day, they used to send teachers to your home.
Yes.
Now it may be more digital.
Yeah, I think maybe you're on Zoom for the day.
Yeah.
But
they figure out a way
they figure it out.
that you can make up the work you're
Yeah.
missing. And like I said, I remember one time one of my siblings had a prolonged illness,
Yeah.
and the teachers were coming to the house, and I just did not like that.
That
But okay.
To me, that would be mortifying.
It was mortifying. The teachers were coming to the house.
Yeah.
But now it's probably online. They meet
Yeah.
with them online, whatever it is. I
Right.
think that preschool age programs need to think about how do we do that. If a child has an illness or some sort of physical challenge that keeps them home for long periods of time, then how do we ensure that we are offering this family and this child support for their learning and development?
Right.
So we need systems too where we say, okay, we're going to do some of what we did during the pandemic and we're going to get online with your children.
Right.
Right? Or we're going to offer you things. We'll give you a packet.
We'll give you a packet for you could do this at home. Like
Yep.
when your child's sick for a long period of time. I mean,
I remember when I was in public school too, there was a time when I don't remember what was wrong with me, but I was going to be out for maybe 2 weeks.
yeah.
And I remember my parents contacting the school to put a packet of work together and send it home with like maybe one of the neighbor
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
And someone brought my work to me.
Yeah.
We have to think about why are we not doing that
Right.
in preschool if you don't.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't, you need to. All right, folks. I feel done with it. I think we've
agree.
gotten the
I
message
think
across.
I think we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Yes.
I think we've gotten the message across that,
Yeah.
that the preschool age years are still important for attendance,
Yes.
folks.
Yes.
Share this episode. I hope you will. I know some programs have episodes of ours on their websites or they send home in the app or so. I think this is an important
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people are realizing the impact further down the road. The third grade reading,
Right.
the senior graduation.
The person who doesn't think going to work matters. Like
Well, like I said, like my parents established, like you're out when you're sick and on your birthday, and I still have that in me.
yeah, me
Like
too.
that's what I do, and
Me too.
Otherwise, I'm at work.
Me too. My children too. They go to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, so it is true. Like whatever is established at a young age, kind of becomes
It
your
sticks.
mindset. Yeah,
It sticks.
yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to let you go think about that.
Yeah.
Don't forget to go to our website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com, for some backup
Yeah.
materials having to
Yeah.
do with this if you need to send them home to families.
Yeah.
And you can check us out on Facebook too. We have a page, How Preschool Teachers Do It podcast.
this QR.
Allison just shifted her head
Yeah.
over on YouTube. There is a QR code. Please come to YouTube. We have a QR code up on the screen that you can hold your camera up and go to what is sort of a business card for this podcast. It takes you to our work and our website and all those sorts of things. And while you're there on YouTube, do us a favor and subscribe and like an episode and comment maybe. We've gotten some really good
Yay. Yeah, we
comments
have.
recently from around the world.
Yes.
So please do all of that, and we will catch you next time on the podcast.
Bye, peeps.